Good morning, true crime friends. This is my third time trying to start this video this morning. It's that kind of day. Look, the dogs are very barky, and so I have some motivation for them to shut up and just let me record for a minute. We are here to talk true crime. But first, I need you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then we could talk about the boy in the box. Are you watching the boy in the box trial over there on the court TV? Honey, I don't remember these people's names. It kind of doesn't matter. Girls, stop it, you're driving me crazy. Okay, I have unruly dogs. Stop, you've had enough. Oh, Daisy hasn't had any. Okay, hang on. Here, Daisy. Okay. Take all 4 of your teeth. That might take 20 minutes for her to chew that little treat. Anyway, the boy in the box trial over there on the court TV. So look, I was watching the opening statements of this trial, and I was like, I'm going to try and keep an open mind. So the prosecutor gets up there, and she's like, this man built a house, has a house in Florida, and they had a contractor come in and build a room, which he told the contractor, oh, it's going to be an office, but can you put a camera in the ceiling and no windows and air conditioning and a lock on the outside of the door? Sir, why you need a camera in the ceiling? And if the boy is locked in the box, why you also, okay, and no windows, no ventilation? What if there's a fire? Like, okay, so basically you would like us to build you a death trap there in the basement. Gotcha. I mean, they're in the garage. Okay, terrific, fine. So the prosecutor gets up here and explains terrible conditions that this 14-year-old child was living under. And they were like, oh, he has reactive attachment disorder, and he was, all these medical problems, whatever. Not medical. The child was adopted from another country when he was a toddler, and so he suffered from like some malnutrition or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but they've had this child since he's 17 months old, and at the time of the crime, he was 14. Okay. And this family has 4 kids, 2 adopted children, 2 biological children. Okay, fine, whatever. All the other kids in the house were treated well, only not this kid. Family, sir, why is this on trial? Why? Because apparently this gentleman was offered a plea deal where he would have to do 24 months, which means he would have to do like 1.5 years tops. I mean, nobody wants to go to prison. I don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go to prison. Nobody wants to go to prison. Sir, I'm watching this trial and I am looking at you crazy. And so, but I was like, okay, that's what the state says they can prove. Defense, let's see what you say. So the defense gets up there and was like, the boy had many problems, social problems, whatever, and he was dangerous to the other children in the house. And I was like, oh, maybe these were parents just doing the best they could and they made the wrong decisions. And the defense attorney said they were just doing their best and they made the wrong decisions. And I was like, okay, sure. I would like to see some proof on both sides, and then I'm willing to be open-minded and decide. And the prosecution put up some witnesses, and I'm like, yeah. And then these people's children, these people's daughter testified. Sir, why are we here? Why are we here? Your children are testifying against you, okay? And I'm not talking about a 6-year-old who's testifying against you. I'm talking about a 17-year-old, somebody who was old enough to see what was going on, to know what was happening, a fellow adopted child. I believe one child was adopted from China, the other from maybe Vietnam, something like that. And then there are these 2 biological children. The family seemed to have, like, the father seemed to be like, a corporate guy with a corporate job or whatever. This daughter got up here and testified, and I was riveted because I fully expected her to say, like, oh, my brother was dangerous. We felt very unsafe, blah, blah, blah. And so our parents were just trying to protect us. Nope. That's not what she said. She was like, this brother was always treated differently. He was treated badly. We got snacks. He didn't get snacks. I was trying to slip him some food. They would lock him out of the house and all this other kind of madness. I was like, what? Sir, why are we here? And at the time of, and the mother was clearly complicit in this, because even when the father was out of the country, at one point the father was in Ireland or something on a business trip. The mom was like, okay, let me lock you in your cage over here and the rest of us are gonna go have some family fun time. And they were like, the child had behavior problems. Probably because y'all was locking him in a box. Like, I understand. Listen, one of my kids was more than a handful. And people were like, you should send him to live with the grandmother. You should send him here. You should send him there. And he drove me out of my mind. Those school counselors and principals, they had my behind on speed dial. I'm like, oh, hey, Steve, what he do today? That's me talking to the guidance counselor when my son was in middle school, because it was always something. Never violent, always just a pain in the neck. And as our oldest child, who was at home at the time, I was just like, where have we gone wrong? What did we do? What is going on? This is my biological child, so I can't just like return him to the adoption agency or nothing. I was like, ooh, this is a situation. And we kept working at it and working at it and working at it. And eventually it got better. But it was a slow process, Now he is a productive member of society, and he's a very lovely young man. So anyway, I'm like, I understand what it is like to struggle with your child. I understand what it's like to struggle with a child with behavior issues. Mine had ADHD, dyslexia, general pain in the assery. He really delighted. And he was like, you would say the sky is blue. He'd be like, I think that is purple. And now I want to have a debate with you about it on everything. On everything. And I was like, where did this child come from? So I get it. But locking him in a room, okay, I did think about it, because I was like, oh, the peace I could get if I could just lock you in a room. But we did not. This family, they've already lost custody of their children, including a 4-year-old, because their kids range in ages from like 17 to 4. They've lost custody of the kids. The kids are testifying against them. The daddy is facing prison. I think he's going to have a little visit there, unless this defense comes up with some compelling testimony. Truly compelling. But listen to that daughter testify yesterday. I was like, sir, you better get your beef stick and ramen noodle money ready, because you about to go down, sir. And the wife was just sitting there with her hands folded, looking all pious. Ma'am. This not gonna go good. Was this an abusive situation all around? Was there domestic abuse? I'm curious. And why did all the vengeance and rage or whatever land on this one child? I don't get it. But I will continue watching today. I think they start around noon or something like that. I will be perched. I want to see what happens. I'm looking at you and thinking you garbage, but listen, change my mind. Tell me something different, because, sir, so far, it's not looking good for you. And I'm judging you harshly. I wanted to reserve judgment. And if I were on the jury, I would say that I was reserving judgment. But so far, I'm judging. I'm judging a lot. Kind of an awful lot. In other news, the state of Massachusetts versus Rentala, they are in their 5 millionth day of deliberations. The jury had to start over. 3 jury members asked to be dismissed. After 2 days of deliberation, 2 jury members got dismissed, and then an alternate. They was like, look, I got better things to do than this trial. I also suspect that the jury was kind of like not going to reach a verdict quickly. And 2 people were like, I have better things to do than this. And so I would like to go now, please. And thank you. So part of me is like, how does this change the metrics on this trial? So when the 2 jurors come in, they can't be like, okay, where we left off was X. No, they have to start from the beginning. So yesterday, they started from the beginning with their deliberations. I wonder if this jury will hang, honest to goodness. But I also wonder, with the 2 people, I feel like it was sort of on the road to hanging with these 2 people out and new fresh blood in there. Might they come up with a resolution one way or another? Adding 2 new people to the whole situation really changes the dynamics. And so I'm like, ooh, I'm dying to see. This case, in my mind, could totally go either way. Do I think Cara Rentala killed her wife? Yep. Do I think the state has the evidence to prove it? Unclear. I do not know. Because I say it all the time. These cases are not about what's just, what's right, what's ever. These cases are always about what the state can prove. And if the state can prove, if the state got the goods on you, you might be in trouble. Sometimes even if the state has close to the goods on you, and we can make the leap from all that, whatever they cobbled together based on, and looking at your face and your demeanor in court, be like, seems guilty to me. And that's how some folks go to prison. So I'm keeping an eyeball on that one. We're going to see what happens. Russell Laffitte is in prison. Russell Laffitte, as you may recall, is a Alec Murdaugh associate. So all the little Murdaugh gang, well, not all of them, because you know there's a whole bunch of crooked lawyers down there in South Carolina. Honestly, it might be a whole bunch of crooked lawyers all over the place. But the ones that got caught most recently that are in the news, well, we are focused on South Carolina. So Richard Alexander Murdaugh, Alec, is in prison down there in state prison in South Carolina. His buddies, Corey Fleming, also Alec's attorney and co-conspirator, in prison, and Russell Laffitte finally reported his behind to prison just last week. And so everybody has been talking about his the prison commissary list, because Russ is in federal prison. And I'm like, okay, everybody's talking about this commissary list and how cushy it is and whatever. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, somebody commented that there was enough stuff on there that you could make a nice charcuterie board. And I was like, out of prison food? Let me look. So, you know, I let my fingers do the walking. And I was like, what could I put on my charcuterie board? But look, I have a list based on the things that were in this prison commissary. So I was like, first of all, where would you get a board from? You use the desk, you use the back of your shoe. I don't know what you use. Can you make a charcuterie board out of toilet paper? What they got to put all this food on? But okay, fine. So I was like, if based on this commissary list, if I were going to make a charcuterie board, I would order from commissary the hot pepper cheese. Ooh, I hope it's not one of those spreads. It's actually like a cuttable cheese. I don't know how you gonna cut it. Maybe a spork is a good cutter. Unclear. The mozzarella, is it fresh? Something tells me it's not like the fresh balls. It's just the shredded. But you can make that work in a pinch. And the sharp cheddar. Okay, we have a nice collection of cheeses. And then in terms of meat, we could do the beef summer sausage. Don't you remember Pepperidge Farms in the mall? You would walk down and they would give you a little slice of beef stick on a cracker or something. And your mom would be like, okay, take two, but then we got to go. Oh, I used to love those, no, was it Pepperidge Farm? No, not Pepperidge Farm. You know, the place that had the red box that had the, look, I see the demographics on this channel. Y'all old like I'm old. Y'all remember the beef stick from the mall. So you get some of that mall beef stick. They have some of that over at the commissary. They have pepperoni, yum, and hot beef sausage. You can make that work. You could make that work. Could your desk become the charcuterie board? How would you clean that up? And then you could put like a little squeeze of mustard and maybe some of that squeezy cheese. Could you like do like a kosher salt? I didn't see kosher salt on the list. And then I would want like a little container of hot honey or a drizzle. Now the cracker would have to be saltine, and they didn't have like the proper little bread rounds, but you can make that work too. Get you some bread from the cafeteria and cut the crust off and toast it over. What could you toast it over? Do you have lighters in prison? I'm going to go with no. A hot light or whatever. You can hook up some charcuterie. And then I was like, okay, maybe they have the same thing in state prison. And I looked at state prison like, okay, what could I make out of these ingredients? Not much. Now, based on the food alone, on the commissary alone, I could see why you would want to go to federal prison and not state prison. That aside, I don't want to go to no prison at all. Yesterday, I talked about coming up with, like, for all my true crime friends, a prison hotel where you could go and do like prison cosplay for the weekend. And so I'm like over here Googling prison hotel. You know, they have those already, right? You could go to a hotel made from an old prison. And I was like, I need to see these pictures. First of all, you know, these prisons did not look like that when they was actual working prisons. Oh, they had gardens. They had beautiful landscaping. The accommodations still look rather bleak. But I was like, oh, I would not visit. I mean, I would walk through. I would not spend the night here. Also, ghosts. Because, you know, some people like, first of all, if you were a ghost and you die and you could go anywhere, why would you stay in haunted prison? That don't make no kind of sense to me. So you was in bondage in life and now you're going to be in bondage after you're dead. No, thank you. No. I would think the first thing you would want to go do is just like walk free and roam around the wherever and see. But I mean, listen, I can see some ghosts also haunting that prison because some ghosts have vengeance, apparently. But also, back to the prison commissary list. Two items on this list, on the federal list, gave me pause. I don't know why they're there. I don't understand. And one of them is a scientific calculator. Are y'all doing that level of math in prison? A scientific why do you need a scientific calculator in prison? And also, isn't that dangerous? Isn't the scientific calculator the one with the graphs and stuff? You could be like, remember that little chicken from the cartoons? He would just take like a pen and paper and do a little bit of math, and then he could like dig a hole over here and make something happen over there. That's what I feel like they're doing with the scientific calculator over there at the prison. Also, pork shoulder. Do they just deliver an entire pork shoulder to you? You're like, who ordered the pork shoulder? Is it cooked? I have questions. They did not say cooked pork shoulder. They did not say prepared foods. They just said pork shoulder. I have questions. Finally, last but certainly not least, there's a murder trial coming up that has really got my attention. It is the Visine murder trial. Visine, how come your product is deadly? I know it gets the red out of your eyes, right? And that's good. And I had heard that back in the day, you could put like a few drops of Visine in somebody's drink and kill them. Who figured that out? Like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spike my drink with Visine and see what happens. And then you're dead. Like, but this person, one woman in Waukesha, Wisconsin, Waukesha. I'm scared of Wisconsin. They got a Waukesha? Why y'all in the news so much? Maybe Court TV just got like a media pass, and they can record all your court cases. So y'all just out here looking crazy. But this woman put 6 bottles of Visine in somebody's vodka. Is that a see clearly? Like, is that a cocktail? Did you have like something else in there too? Pineapple juice? Maybe a pineapple juice and look, I don't drink, so I'm not up on my latest cocktails. I literally have not had alcohol in 25 years. So I'm just like, I don't know what like cocktails people are making these days. I do enjoy myself a delicious mocktail, but and pineapple juice goes with anything. So pineapple and Visine, can you order that at the bar? Does it also make you high? I don't understand. This woman poisoned her friend with a Visine cocktail by mixing it with alcohol and tried to make it look like she overdosed. Should they have the Visine behind the pharmacist counter like they do with the cold medication or whatever? I know they started hiding the cold medication so the meth heads couldn't, clear up their allergies and stuff. Also make meth. Where do you get the recipe for that? I'm not trying to make it. I'm just curious. Like, if you're a meth head, something tells me things in your life are not going great. You might be a little bit disorganized. Sure, you can probably read, but do you have like the concentration to follow a recipe? Is there a meth recipe book? Do you have like grandma's version and auntie's version? I have so many questions, but also this Visine cocktail, how you come up with that idea and why would you do it? And then I realized that the woman who poisoned her friend with Visine also stole like $290,000 of her money. I was like, oh, that tracks. That tracks. You're taking care of a friend who is like a narcotics enthusiast or whatever. And you're like, look at all these nice bottles of Visine. And she's not going to need this money. So if I just give her this cocktail, I can borrow the money. Only girl, you got caught. I don't know all the details of the case. I guess I will find them out on October 23rd when the Visine case comes to court. I think they call it like the eye medication or the see clearly trial. I don't know. But that one I'm keeping an eye on. I was keeping an eye on that, and I was keeping an eye on Suitcase Sarah. But I don't know Suitcase Sarah is ever going to come to trial. So I am focusing my energy from Suitcase Sarah over to this Visine lady over there in Wisconsin. I got my eye on y'all. Y'all about to be in the same league with South Carolina. I do not understand what's happening in some of these states. But you know what I do understand? Why you're here. Because you like true crime and I like true crime. And both of us are nosy. And we just keeping an eye out. So look. We have bingo cards still available. Go on down in the comments. The very first pinned comment is a bingo card. So play bingo. And if you win, I will send you a prize. Doesn't that sound fun? Don't you want a prize from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo? We love prizes around here. Okay, look, like always, I'm going to be over there on the 13th juror with Brandy Glanville. Lord, Brandy Glanville. Brandy Churchwell, who should change her last name to Chartwell, but I'm going to be over there. And Sunday, apparently, is the celebration of her 10,000 subscribers. And I'm like, yay! What time is that party? Because I have a family wedding on Sunday. But I will make myself available. I could just slip a little earphone in my ear and be like, congratulations, bride and groom. Can somebody bring me some cake? I'm over here on the live stream. Exclamation point, C. I'm here. And then I should exclamation point, cake, because I'm eating cake while I'm watching the 10,000 stream. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Get on out there. And we're going to have a deadly dentist at noon. You're not going to believe this dude because he is a mess. So check me out on Lunchtime True Crime, noon Eastern. You're going to find out about yet another deadly dentist. Also, brush and floss. I'll see you soon. Bye.